Welcome in, everybody. We're diving deep today into a financial revolution brewing that honestly feels like it's ripped from tomorrow's headlines. Our listeners sent in this incredible collection of articles and analysis all about Ripple, their upcoming stablecoin RLUSD, and how this all ties into, well, the future of finance.
You got it. And let me tell you, the implications here, they're huge, GE. We're going to unpack why everyone, from your crypto diehards to government officials, is buzzing about stablecoins right now. And of course, how Ripple seems positioned to be like a major player in all this.
Okay, so roadmap for today's deep dive. We'll cover Ripple's whole journey, especially that impressive growth they've had, even with the SEC lawsuit still going on. We've got to delve into those licenses they snagged, like the New York Charter and Trust, and how those give them a seat at the table in the U.S. financial system. Then, stablecoins what they are, why RLUSD is turning heads. We'll even touch on the wild world of tokenized assets in institutional DeFi.
Oh, and we can't leave out the bigger picture either, right? We'll look at how governments, especially the U.S., are starting to really embrace this stablecoin thing and what that could mean for the future of how we think about money itself.
Sounds like a plan. Let's jump in. One thing that really struck me about Ripple's story is just their pure resilience. They're facing this legal battle with the SEC, yet they're expanding internationally and securing these really important licenses. What's your take on their strategy here?
Well, I think it's a textbook example of playing the long game. You know, while a lot of the crypto world was focused on that fast growth and speculation, Ripple was laying the groundwork for something different: institutional adoption, regulatory compliance, the whole nine yards. Acquiring licenses like the New York Charter and Trust. That was strategic. They're signaling, hey, we're committed to working within the established system. It's like they built this bridge between traditional finance and the blockchain world.
That's a great analogy. It's not about disruption, it's about integration, which maybe explains why they're getting so much interest from governments and big financial institutions.
Exactly. They're a partner, not a disruptor, and that approach, it's paying off, especially with this RLUSD launch coming up.
Okay, so RLUSD, I keep seeing all this buzz about it potentially being backed by U.S. Treasury Bills, those T-bills. In the stablecoin world, that's kind of a big deal, right?
Huge deal. Think about it. Most stablecoins, they're usually backed by fiat currency reserves just sitting in bank accounts. But T-bills, those are considered one of the safest, most liquid assets out there globally. Backing a stablecoin with that adds a whole nother layer of security and stability. Plus, it aligns RLUSD more closely with traditional financial instruments, so institutions and regulators are going to be more comfortable.
Makes sense. And, one of the articles mentioned Ripple's CTO, David Schwartz. He acknowledged there might be some price fluctuations at launch. Someone was even willing to pay over $1,000 for a tiny fraction of RLUSD. Wild, right? But Schwartz said the price should stabilize quickly. It's interesting how being transparent, even about potential hiccups, can build trust.
It's essential in a space that's, let's be honest, often full of hype and speculation. By being upfront about the challenges and explaining the market mechanics, how things will stabilize, Ripple's showing a level of accountability you don't always see in crypto.
Feels very strategic, like they're managing expectations from the get-go. So how does this stablecoin fit into Ripple's bigger vision for all that institutional DeFi and tokenization stuff?
Think of RLUSD as the bridge. It lets institutions step into the DeFi world more comfortably. Instead of messing with complex, volatile cryptos, they can use something stable, regulated, familiar. RLUSD.
Okay, I'm starting to see the picture here, and we're already seeing this play out on the XRP Ledger, aren't we?
Exactly. Companies like Elfie, OpenEden, they're launching tokenized T-bills on the XRP Ledger. It's tokenization in action. You're taking a real-world asset, that T-bill, representing it digitally on the blockchain.
And it's not just about representation. It's about unlocking all this liquidity, efficiency, new possibilities for investors.
For sure, tokenized T-bills. You can trade them 24/7, settle instantly, fractionalize them. Suddenly, they're accessible to a way wider range of investors. It's democratizing access to these asset classes that used to be exclusive.
This isn't just a Ripple thing either, is it? This whole stablecoin movement, it's got government, even the U.S., starting to pay attention.
You're absolutely right. It's fascinating to watch this play out globally. In the U.S., you've got figures like Nellie Liang, Undersecretary for Domestic Finance at the Treasury. She's in deep on these discussions about the role of stablecoins, even central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, in the whole financial system.
So regulators are paying attention, trying to figure out how to create a framework that encourages innovation, but also mitigates the risks.
It's a tough spot, right? Total tightrope walk. They got to balance protecting consumers, ensuring financial stability, but also wanting to encourage technological progress. And Ripple, with their focus on playing by the rules, they seem to be aligning themselves with that whole approach.
Fascinating dynamic. It feels like we're at this turning point where traditional finance and the blockchain world are starting to merge.
And you know what? RLUSD, with its unique features and how Ripple's positioning it, it could be a major catalyst in that whole convergence.
All right, so we've covered Ripple's journey, the significance of this RLUSD thing, this growing interest in tokenized assets and institutional DeFi. But what about the impact on the XRP ledger itself and XRP?
Well, if RLUSD takes off the way some folks are predicting, it could mean a massive increase in transaction volume on the XRP ledger and the demand that comes with that.
Which in turn could potentially boost the value of XRP.
Right. More activity on the network usually translates to higher demand for its native token.
So this one stablecoin launch, it could ripple throughout that whole XRP ecosystem.
Exactly. That's why it's so crucial to understand how all these developments are connected. We're not just talking about a new cryptocurrency here. This is a potential paradigm shift in how we think about money, about finance itself.
A lot to take in, but it's exciting to watch it all unfold. You mentioned the broader context of governments embracing stablecoins. What are some of the benefits and challenges they're weighing?
Well, governments see the potential here. Stablecoins could improve financial inclusion, make transactions cheaper, boost the efficiency of payment systems. They're even looking at how they could work with, or maybe even compete with, those CBDCs we talked about.
It's like they're trying to harness the power of blockchain, but still maintain control over their monetary systems.
That's it, and that's where the challenges pop up. How do you regulate this effectively? Ensure stability, security, consumer protection, without killing innovation. It's a tough one.
Yeah, delicate balance for sure. But it's encouraging that these conversations are happening at such high levels. Shows they're taking this technology seriously, recognizing its potential to really reshape finance.
It's a clear sign that the world is waking up to the power of blockchain and stablecoins.
All right, so this deep dive has been incredibly insightful. But I'm curious, what are some potential risks or challenges we should be thinking about with this new financial paradigm?
That's the million-dollar question. The potential benefits are huge, but there are definitely risks. One of the biggest is just the regulatory uncertainty. We've talked about how governments are still figuring out the rules of the road here.
And that lack of clarity makes it tough for businesses and investors, right?
For sure. Hard to plan for the future, can even stifle innovation. And then there's the security piece. Crypto and blockchain, they're still relatively new. We've seen those high-profile hacks, thefts.
Which erodes trust, makes people hesitant to try these new things.
Absolutely a valid concern. The industry has to address this head on. We need stronger security, more transparency to build confidence with users.
And then there's just the accessibility factor. Cryptocurrency can be complex, intimidating for everyday people.
No doubt about it. If we want widespread adoption, we have to make this tech more user-friendly, accessible.
It's about bridging that gap between the tech-savvy early adopters and everybody else.
Exactly. We need to create on-ramps that make it easy for anyone to participate, no matter how tech-savvy they are.
And that's a challenge that everyone needs to work on, right?
Yeah.
Developers, educators, policymakers.
Collective effort for sure. Got to work together to create a future of finance that's inclusive, secure, benefits everyone.
A big goal, but worth shooting for.
Absolutely. The rewards are too big to ignore.
This deep dive has been fantastic, truly eye-opening. We've covered so much Ripple's journey, the rise of stablecoins, the implications for finance.
It's been a whirlwind. Hopefully our listener is walking away with a better understanding of this whole landscape, complex as it is.
I think so. And probably sparked a bunch of new questions, too, new things to explore.
That's the beauty of a deep dive, right? Not about finding all the answers, but about sparking that curiosity, that passion to keep learning.
Well said. To our listener out there, I encourage you, keep digging deeper. Check out the resources we've talked about. Stay informed. This space is moving fast.
The future of finance, it's being written as we speak, and we all have a chance to influence it. And it's really remarkable how Ripple's putting their money where their mouth is, so to speak. Like that $10 million they invested in Open Eden's tokenized T-bill project back in August, that shows commitment.
They're not just talking the talk, they're walking the walk. But this whole stablecoin tokenization thing,
Yeah.
it makes me wonder, where does Bitcoin fit in? You know, the OG crypto, the one that started it all. What's its role in all this?
Big question. Bitcoin, with its decentralized nature, that limited supply, It's often been seen as like digital gold, right? More of a store of value than something you'd use for everyday transactions. And yeah, its price has been going crazy lately, hitting all-time highs, but its place in this new financial system, that's still up for debate.
So you're saying even if the price keeps climbing, it might not be the main currency of the future.
It's a possibility. That volatility makes it tough to use for everyday stuff, especially compared to stablecoins pegged to, regular currencies. But Bitcoin's role as a digital asset, a hedge against inflation, a symbol of this whole decentralized finance idea, that's still significant.
So it's like Bitcoin's the pioneer, proving a decentralized system can work. But then stablecoins, tokenized assets, they're building the roads and bridges, making it practical, usable for everyone.
I think that's a great analogy. It's a fascinating evolution, and it's happening globally.
You mentioned global. What are other countries doing about regulating stablecoins, embracing this whole new paradigm?
Well, actually, the European Union is ahead of the U.S. on this. They've already got this thing called MiCA, the Markets and Crypto Assets Regulation. It basically treats compliant stablecoins like e-money, making it easier to integrate them into their existing financial system.
So Europe's setting the stage, laying out a framework for stablecoins that could influence other countries, maybe even the U.S.
Exactly. And in the U.S., you've got people like Nellie Liang, remember her? She's been pushing for a national regulatory framework that includes stablecoins. She's even said that not having one could hurt the U.S. economy.
Sounds like the U.S. is playing catch-up a bit, recognizing the importance of this tech, but still working out the how to regulate it part.
It's complex. It'll take time to find that sweet spot between encouraging innovation but protecting consumers.
But Ripple, with their whole play-by-the-rules approach, their global reach, they seem pretty well positioned to handle all this change, don't they?
They've been playing the long game, right?
Yeah.
Positioning themselves as that bridge between the old and the new. And with RLUSD coming out, it's a big step towards making that vision of a more inclusive, efficient global financial system a reality.
It's kind of inspiring, right, to see a company go through a challenge like that SEC lawsuit and come out the other side, potentially leading this whole transformation.
It really speaks to their vision, their commitment to building something that could change things for the better globally.
This deep dive has been eye-opening, truly. We started with one stablecoin, and now we're talking about a potential paradigm shift in finance. It's wild.
That's what happens when you really dive deep into something. You start to see the connections, the bigger picture that you miss if you just skim the surface.
For our listener out there who sent us all this great stuff to dig into, I think this is a great example of how much change is happening right now.
How we think about money, value, finance, it's all being rewritten right in front of us.
And it's not just about the deck itself. It's about power. Who controls the systems that run our financial lives?
You hit the nail on the head there. This shift to a more decentralized, digital-first system, it's not just about convenience or efficiency. It's about empowering people, communities.
Taking power away from those big institutions, giving it back to individuals.
Powerful idea, and it's driving a lot of the energy, the innovation we're seeing in the crypto world.
But powerful ideas, they often face resistance, right? Especially from those who benefit from how things are now. We'll probably see some pushback from those who stand to lose from this decentralization trend.
Oh, absolutely. But like any major shift in society, there are winners and losers. The question is, which side do you want to be on?
Makes you think. And it brings us back to Ripple and what they're trying to do. It's not just about building a company, it's about building a better system, one that's more inclusive, accessible, fair for everyone.
And they're doing it in a way that's smart, bridging that gap between the old and the new.
It's a fascinating thing to watch. And it's definitely not over yet.
This is just the first act. As stablecoins, tokenization, decentralized finance keep growing, we're going to see even more disruption, more innovation in the coming years.
So to our listener who's clearly been following this closely, stay tuned. Stay engaged. Be part of shaping this future.
The future of finance isn't set in stone. It's being written right now. And we all have a hand in how that story unfolds.
It really is empowering to think we can have a say in how finance evolves. And, one of the articles you sent, it highlighted how stablecoins could really boost financial inclusion, especially in developing countries. It's a good reminder that this tech isn't just about making money. It's about creating opportunities, improving lives.
Yeah, that's a huge point that gets lost sometimes in all the crypto hype. Think about it. People who've been shut out of traditional banking, no ID, no credit history, stablecoins, blockchain, those could give them access to financial services for the first time.
Opens up a whole world of possibilities for literally billions of people, right? Savings, loans, investments could be life-changing.
Absolutely. And not just individuals either. Stablecoins, blockchain, they can make cross-border payments way easier, cheaper. Businesses can operate globally, especially those small and medium ones that get hit with crazy fees and delays.
Levels of the playing field. That's businesses in developing countries actually participate in the global economy.
That's the real power of this tech. Creating a financial system that's fairer, more inclusive, benefits everyone, not just a select few.
But, gotta acknowledge the flip side. New tech always comes with risks, challenges. We talked about regulations being unclear, security concerns. What else should people be aware of as they try to navigate all this?
Education, for sure. People need to understand how this stuff works, what the risks are, how to avoid scams, all that.
Kind of like the early days of the internet. Lots of excitement, potential, but also lots of misinformation and people trying to take advantage.
Exactly. That's why it's so important to have sources you can trust, like, well, hopefully, this deep dive, giving folks balanced, accurate info.
Not telling anyone what to think, but giving them the knowledge to make their own smart decisions.
Knowledge is power, especially in a space that's changing this fast.
So, as we wrap this deep dive up, one last thought for our listener. We've covered stablecoins, tokenization, DeFi, how it could all reshape finance. But what about the bigger picture? Could all this affect other parts of our lives too?
That's a great question to end on. Honestly, we're barely scratching the surface here. Blockchain, the foundation of all this, it could revolutionize so many things. Supply chains, healthcare, even voting systems.
Wow. It's mind-blowing to think how this could impact society as a whole.
It really is. We can't predict the future, but we are living through massive tech change. How we respond to it, well, that'll shape the world for a long time to come.
So, to our listener who sent us these awesome materials, stay curious, stay engaged, and be ready for anything. The future of finance is just one part of a much bigger story here, a story of disruption, transformation.
And that story is still being written. We all have a role to play in how it turns out, in shaping the kind of world we want to live in.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the future of finance. We hope you found it insightful and maybe even a bit inspiring. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep shaping that future.